Hi everyone, this is Olivia from the Alexandrienne channel. I'm here to help you learn how to create wraparound roses. A wraparound rose takes probably less than a minute to draw. They're very fast and very pretty. Make for sure to watch this all the way through to get the most out of this video. You'll learn how to draw the wraparound roses, how to draw them in different ways, and how to put them all together to create different things like journal boxes, frames, headers, corners, bouquets, borders, dividers, papers, and scattered throughout this video, I've included some of the things that I've made that include wraparound roses with different styles of art. And while I'm not teaching that, I'm showing that. So if you have any questions at all about how to do that, let me know. Okay? I also show a couple of ways to color them. So if you're ready, let's get started. Let's take a look at how to draw the wraparound roses. I've put this on a faster speed so it won't take quite so long to go through. When you make your wraparound roses, the first thing you do is make a circle. The next thing is to put a swirl inside the circle, or you can do it all at the same time, and then a couple of leaves, and that is it. That's all there is to it. It takes less than a minute. Thought I'd go ahead and show you some different things that you can do. If you look at the line below, you can see where I've made what would be petals, but it really is just little ruffles. And on the next image, I have put them all around the wraparound rose, which actually looks quite good. And the next are the little petals that when the rose is a bud, they're up around the petals and then they fall down. Next to that are some wraparound rose buds. The first one is closed. The second one, the swirl is open and I draw a line at an angle down to the bud. And on the third one, I just added some of the petals. I roughly colored those in black so you could see them. And on the next line, I drew some of the petals down below the rosebud. And next to that are a few different ways to draw some of the rosebuds. Either just gentle rounded bottom section, or you can make it curvy so the top is a little wider. And then the stem and the petals, they come in threes. There'll be a little stem and three petals. And the next one has a little bud. And then onto a corner. I've just taken three of the wraparound roses and three leaves and made a corner. And the next one is just a little design where I added what is really just tiny little dots or circles, but it's supposed to represent, say, maybe baby's breath, something like that. It just makes for a more complete image. I wanted to show you some images that I created using wraparound roses, and I'm going to do this throughout this video. On this group of images, I used markers, and I didn't do layering. They are mostly just one color, like the roses are just red, etc. I didn't go in and color every tiny bit. I left a lot of white space, and that makes movement as well as, layering your colors. This is a great technique and it's very fast. And I think you could probably also tell that I wasn't in the slightest bit interested in making straight lines. Loose, free, fun, uncomplicated, but still has a lot of movement. Okay, let's get on to drawing some wraparound roses. I am just showing you that you can make your swirl go in either direction, which if you're making, say, a bouquet or something, it does tend to add a little more interest and variety. And next to those two, you'll see where the swirl is just a small swirl, and then when next to it, the swirls got quite a bit more. And the next one, it's an open swirl. So those are three variations. The next one has the petals all the way around the flower. The next just has petals partway around the flower. Below that, you can see where I've taken the rose and put leaves in different areas. And then after that, I did three roses in different ways. One looks somewhat like a corner, and then the other looks more like a design. And next is a border with roses and what you could call baby's breath. After that is something that you could maybe use as a journaling block or a frame. I put lines to show you, but the image itself would be with the dots or maybe a thin double line. After that are two really rough thumbnails that represent how you might make, say, a background paper. And now I'm just going in and showing you a few more variations, like there's a bouquet with a ribbon and some of the baby's breath. And now I'm showing you how to draw a bouquet. You would draw your swirls first and then add the lines. And next is just, I think, a really pretty design with the rosebuds. Okay, now we are going to go on to drawing a few final wraparound roses that we can color in. Before we get started on that, I'm going to show you some more images. These images are totally whimsical, representing childhood, and so I gave them a more vintage look with lots of browns and beiges. But the big part that I wanted to show you is that they have all been made with wraparound roses, and only the very simplest ones, just the swirly circle with leaves, and I think they look really cute. Let's go on. Now on to the drawings that are going to be colored in. If you'll notice, it's just the very simple wraparound rose with two leaves on either side, one wraparound rose with the ruffly petals on the bottom, a wraparound rosebud that's closed with the three leaves, and below that is the wraparound rosebud with a tinier rosebud, three leaves, and the top of it is open. And some baby's breath or tiny little flowers that you might use to accompany your roses. After that, I did a wraparound rose with the petals all the way around and two leaves, and there is the wraparound rose border with four leaves surrounding the center rose and a leaf on each end. And finally, there is the rose corner, similar to what I drew a little while ago. Okay, let's stop and take a look at a few more images before we go ahead and color in these wraparound roses. On this image, on the left side, I created the wraparound roses. It's just paint, and I've taken the frame and I have gone over the edge of that with a darker color in parts. And on the ribbon, you can see where I used a darker brown in spots to add dimension. And on the right hand side, everything has a black outline. I just wanted to point that out so you can see the difference between the two. The one on the left looks softer, more gentle, and on the right it looks more bold. It's something I thought you might find helpful when you go to create yours. Okay, on to the next. I'm just going to quickly go over these. There are two images and they are different things that you can do, more utilitarian type. One is a crayon box mini scrapbook. It's got on the bottom a little accordion folded scrapbook and those tiny little frames and tags. And then on top is the crayon box, and it is really small. It's just adorable. And the next one is a gift bag that I used wraparound roses on and just a striped bottom and a mottled pink top. That's it. Okay, now we're going to do some markering in of a few of these roses, and the rest are going to be done in watercolor. I am using 3 shades of pink, a light, medium, and dark pink, and I am going over the center of all the flowers along the edge of the marker line with the medium pink, and then again with the darker pink but at a little bit smaller line. And the leaves, I did them in 2 shades of green. I didn't have the color green that I wanted, so I decided to mix a yellow and a green. And finally, going over the baby's breath with the teeny tiny little flowers, and I thought I'd do 3 different variations. And next we're going to go on to the watercolor. But I thought I would show you another image first, and this I did all in watercolor, and I did it with a more painterly look. And on the swirls, they're not just a straight swirly line. They kind of wave back and forth, which adds to the painterly feel. This next image is of a tag that I created using, of course, the wraparound roses with the little wavy petals, and I thought that I would give it to you if you would like it. I will post in the description area where you can download it. Okay, back to painting. Now we're using watercolor, kind of doing a similar process as I did with the markers, at least for the pink part, where I'm using a few different shades of pink. I'm going over initially with a light pink, and then I will go over it in a darker pink. And I kind of build up the color, and as you can see right now I'm just going over it with a somewhat dry brush to blend it in more. Now a little bit darker, and I continue this process until I build up the flowers to where they look like they have a little more depth, a little more dimension to them. It's a very easy process with watercolor. Go over it initially with your light pink, and then you can stop easily after you put the darker shade in. You do not have to go over it repeatedly and create dimension. You could do it with just one color or add just the light color and one darker shade. That would do fine for dimensions. I am showing you how to build it up to give an even more dimensional appearance, but you don't have to. It's fine to just go over it a couple of times, once with the light pink and then again with the darker pink. Where you see right now, it would be perfectly fine to stop there. I tend to go over it repeatedly until I'm satisfied with how it looks dimensionally, and then sometimes I will go back in with white to highlight the parts that I want even more. And as far as the green goes, it's pretty similar. I go over with a light green and then I go back in with a darker green, and I tend to make one side of the leaf darker and the other lighter because that adds dimension. And I also tend to make it a little bit darker closer to the flowers because you can imagine how they are. They're underneath the flowers, therefore close to the flowers the leaves would be a little bit darker because of the shadows that the flower would probably provide. And that is really pretty much all there is to it. Whether you use a marker or a paintbrush, you can paint these very quickly, very easy to do. So from drawing to having a finished wraparound rose just takes a minute or two, and they make a really pretty image. That's it. But before we close, I wanted to talk about this one image briefly. This is wraparound roses, exactly like I have shown you in this video. They're watercolored, outlined in black, and very, very simple. So I thought I would include them so you could see, like, I made a little dress that coordinates with this background on the left side, and a border, a little tiny baby with a great big wraparound rose, and a cake that's got roses swirled around it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I would love for you to comment, or if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comment box below, and I'll get back with you. I hope this video has given you some really fun ideas and inspired you to go and create some wraparound roses. And if you do, I'd love to see them. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'd love it if you would subscribe and leave comments or ask questions. Thanks so much. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.